Hey everybody, Jake here for American Muscle, and in this video we're taking a look at the Roush Catback exhaust with polished tips fitting 2024 and newer Mustang GT Fastbacks without the factory active exhaust. This is going to be just the right setup for the S650 owner who's looking to make more noise and wants a high quality system with a classic look. Roush is really bringing the heat and volume with this exhaust, and accordingly we're going to give this a 4 out of 5 on our loudness meter. Make no mistake, this one is quite loud, but it also looks and sounds just about perfect. While you'll need one additional piece to make this fit properly, it's worth the extra spend here to get this system for the killer good looks and sound. Nobody makes an exhaust for the Mustang quite like Roush does. This system continues their legacy and brings it to the S650. It's really going to wake up the Coyote V8, and it lets you take advantage of those dual throttle bodies and additional power, plus it gives the car plenty of attitude. The sound here is deep, it's rowdy, it's really everything you expect from a Mustang GT. That is of course all due to the way that Roush set this thing up. In addition to it being a full 3-inch catback, which is larger than your factory piping, your stock mufflers and resonators are removed in favor of these smaller canister style units right at the back. Now as you can tell, they do still have some resonance to them. There is some packet in there, but you are going to get quite a bit of noise because, well, frankly, these things are just small. So you get to hear all of that Coyote goodness both inside and outside. Now, my hearing may not be the greatest, but I actually think you can almost hear each individual cylinder firing, especially at idle. It's got a nice little lumpiness to it. And you get some nice barks and burbles thrown in there as well. Also included in this system is an integrated X-pipe. Now this has a couple of benefits. First of all, the sound. Since this is going to open the exhaust up a bit more by way of the crossover right here in the center, you get more volume. Now an X-pipe can also make some additional power, especially at higher RPMs, as it helps pull exhaust gases through the system smoothly, and you have that nice smooth crossover in the center. But the other big benefit here is that it helps combat drone. By allowing those uneven exhaust gas pulses to cross over early on in the system, it eliminates dissonant frequencies that can cause that head-pounding drone you might find in a less expensive or a less well-engineered system. Now that means you can actually enjoy this exhaust day to day and can still take your Mustang on a nice long road trip without the need for earplugs or blasting the stereo. This system in particular is finished off with a very classic setup, a set of quad polished tips, and that provides you with a nice visual update, especially coming from those little factory tips. These are bigger, they have that cool slash cut design, and they've got the Roush logo etched on the side as well, so they do a lot for the look. And the polish finish here adds a bit of flash to the rear end as well. Now you can get this same exhaust with a pair of black tips. However, if you prefer the more classic polished look, this is the one you're going to want to get. However, whether you choose the black tips or the polished ones, you will need to get the dual tip rear valance in order to have this all fit properly. We do have that valance available on our site as well, so you can snag it at the same time. Construction here is all T304 stainless steel that is mandrel bent. Now T304 is about the best material quality you can get. The sound here is good, the flow is great, and the material is really resistant to rust and corrosion. So especially if you need to drive your car year round where it snows or rains, you won't have to worry about this rusting out on you. The tips are also T304, and they've got that dual wall design with the polished finish. And as you expect from a company with a heritage like Roush, the build quality is excellent as well. Now, of course, all that quality is going to be reflected in the price. Coming in at about $2,800, this one does not come cheap. It's very much a premium option, but again, the build and material quality here are excellent. The sound is awesome, so if those are priorities for you, gather your pennies. You will definitely enjoy it though if you can stomach the price. Installation is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and you can expect the job to take you around 2 hours to complete. It might be a little bit more time than that because you are again going to have to swap out your rear valance as well. But that's an easy thing to do, especially once you've got your stock exhaust off. Otherwise, this is a standard catback exhaust that features a bolt-on installation. It's going to utilize all your factory exhaust hanger locations, and it comes with all the clamps that you need to get this installed. So you don't have to make any permanent modifications to get it fitted. With that, let's head on out to the shop and we'll walk you through the install process.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact, 3/8 extension, a 15 and 13 millimeter swivel socket, a hammer, exhaust hanger tool, and a pry bar. All right, today we're going to be installing an exhaust on our Mustang. Now we will be going to a quad tip exhaust. As you can see, our factory exhaust is a single tip, and so is our factory diffuser. We did install a MP Concepts Dark Horse style rear diffuser to fit our new quad exhaust. So now we're going to watch a quick video how to install a stock one, then we'll come back here to install the new one.
So the first thing we're going to do is come to the double flange behind our cat. We have 4 15mm bolts that we can loosen up with a 15mm socket. Now we're going to leave this just like that for now as we work on the rest. One thing to keep in mind is when we go to pull this off, this little hook is keeping this on, so you're going to have to get a flathead screwdriver to pull back on that on both sides when we go to remove it. Next, we can come right behind our rear diff to this hanger. There's one on each side of this bracket. There's a 13mm bolt holding it on. So I've got a 13mm swivel socket on an extension to pop this off. And now we'll just come to the other side and do the same exact thing. And now with them both removed, you can push up to get those hangers off the hooks. And do that same thing on the other side. Now, last thing we need to do before we can remove this is remove these 2 bolts that were on the inside of those 2 hangers behind the rear diff. So I'm using that same 13mm socket with an extension. Now with those removed, we can push it up off the hook and pull that down to get the clearance we need. So now I've got myself a buddy to support the weight of the rear of the exhaust while I work on the front. We're going to push this towards the rear to disconnect these 2 pipes, and then we can pull it forward to pull it out of the back hangers. So now with our exhaust removed, we can take an exhaust hanger remover tool to pop off these 2 hangers because we will have to reuse them for our new exhaust. Now, last thing we need to pop off is our 2 clamps that are at the front of the exhaust. You can take a rubber mallet and get the edge of a pry bar on the edge of the clamp to tap these off.
So we're going to start off in our front here. As you can see, we already have one of our factory clamps back on. We're just going to put the other one on. Just make sure you line up the tabs on the factory pipe. Once we have that on, we can get our X pipe on, so they will slide right into our factory clamps. And then now we can get our axle pipes on. Now we're going to get our axle pipe on, so we're going to start off. We're going to grab one of our smaller clamps. Most of our clamps are all the same size. 2 larger ones will be for the tips. We're going to get our smaller clamps over, let that rest over. Slide this pipe into our X pipe. At the same time, we can put our isolator on our hanger. So now we're going to get our muffler on. So we're going to already have our clamp over our pipe. Slide that into our hanger first, and then into our axle pipe. We can just let that rest there. You can go ahead and do the same thing for the other axle pipe and muffler. All right, so we're gonna come back to our hangers here, and we're just gonna reinstall our 13mm bolts that we took out. Just gonna thread it all in by hand. And we're gonna grab our impact, extension, and 13mm swivel socket and tighten all of those down. Now we're going to come to the front and we're going to tighten down our front clamps. Grab an impact and 15mm socket. You just want to make sure that the X pipe is level. Now we're going to come back to the back of the X pipe and tighten our 2 clamps down here. It's the same thing, impact and 15mm socket. Now we're going to come back to our clamp at our muffler. Same thing, impact and 15mm socket. Tighten that down. Go ahead, do the same thing for the other muffler. All All right, last thing we need to do is put our tip on. So you see the Roush logo on the outside. The longer tip will go towards the inside of the bumper. We already have our clamp over. And slide that over our tip. And here's where you can adjust angle and how far it wants to stick out. Once you do that, just grab your impact and 15mm socket and tighten that down. Once you have this done, you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other tip.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the Roush Catback exhaust with polished tips, fitting 2024 and newer Mustang GT Fastbacks without the active exhaust. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Mustang, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.